Hello, my bonny bears, and welcome to Not So Straight Talk. This week with myself, Noma Divine, and Chris, all the way from Liverpool, Chrissy Friday. Good, someone's commented
Hi,
already.
hello.
Oh, hello, doll.
Oh, hello, Lewis. How are you? I
How's
like
it
it.
hanging?
Lewis is always in the ball. He's always right in there from as soon as we go live. How are we all doing?
I'm sure he's scheduled it in.
Mm.
Ain't you, Hen?
How are you doing, Chrissy?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous, thank you. How about yourselves?
Not bad. Can't complain.
Buzz
Still
it.
got a broken back, but can't complain.
Buzzing at my tights that I've not got on.
We should have had Sasha Blaze with us this week. However, unfortunately, Sasha has had to take a last-minute booking to service 37 soldiers.
Mm.
I know it's terrible. Apparently, there was no one else that could do it. So Sasha has to deal with 37 soldiers for 2 weeks. So, Chrissy, you're a bit of a whore. What's the most effective way of getting through 37 soldiers in 2 weeks?
Well, the best way to do is loads of poppers, loads of determination, and preparation is a key.
Lovely, yes. You get 37 soldiers, 36 men and 1 woman, just turning Lebanese.
Mm.
Ooh.
I nearly didn't make that.
Mm.
I fell down accidentally in the toilet duck.
Well, I've got stories from Morocco, so Lebanese, Moroccan, same thing.
Oh, I'm sure they'll agree with you with that one. That's a lot of semen
A lot.
for these sailors.
A
Hope they
lot.
don't get here, it's already stiff enough.
I feel okay. Maybe that's not the sort of highbrow entertainment our audience are looking for, because we lost 2 viewers when we started that.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh no. So yes, so we should have had Sasha, and then she sent me a message. I'm really sorry to do this again. However, I've just had 37 soldiers book in, so I have to deal with that.
I mean, how unfortunate she is.
And remember, if you do enjoy yourself and you do have any sort of spare change you'd like to donate to these out of work cross dressers, please remember that the tipping link is down the bottom there. Right. In the words of Jackie G Spot, tipping is not compulsory, but it is essential.
I've not got crosses on my dress. Mine's a tartan.
Ah!
I'm not a cross dresser. I'm not angry. I'm perfect.
Oh. That's lovely. And remember, pop a wee comment in and let us know who's watching.
We love it when you pop it in. The comments.
Lovely. What would you like to talk about first, ladies?
Well,
Where Chris took this book from.
what?
No, be serious, it's nice. What inspired your look?
Difficult.
Did you make it? Did you make it or did you buy it?
Oh, fuck no. I've acquired this from my auntie. She wanted to bin it out. I was like, fuck that. No, I'm going to have it. So I have
I've
it.
done that.
Well, what I was
Passion.
inspired initially was the runway from this week's episode of season 13, yellow. And I was like, got yellow hair, got a yellow dress, but I can't be asked wearing yellow and yellow. So let's do black and yellow.
Yeah, here's a
And a bit
lovely
of
colour. It's
gold.
that piss colour in it. Piss yellow, I think that's called.
Yeah.
You leave Chrissy Friday's
Representing my
OnlyFans
king.
out, please.
Representing
Right,
my
so I'm
kings,
just
of
using this
course.
comment. Yes, but we gave her full credit for her shit patter, so don't worry about it, Dean. That'll rile him up because he'll be sitting there like that trying to type a new
if Jackie's
response.
your sister, she must be your much, much older sister then, eh?
I will admit I've not watched season 13 because I forgot it was Drag Race Day until I was driving up, and then was like, "Oh, I've not watched season 13. I have watched Drag Race UK, so we can talk about that." Not a clue what happened last night on season 13. No, that's why I do apologise.
We're like the rest of the world. No one cares when there's a British one on, do they?
I was.
I do.
So I did watch the British one because it was Snatch came this week.
Oh, I love a good snatch.
We love a good.
I'm still annoyed the fact that the British version isn't called Wankety Wank. Or there's a couple of other versions there, but I may just sort of like save them just now, just in case they do need to get used for something later on. So, what did we think of Snatch Game this week? What do you think of the episode as a whole, and of Snatch Game, and then of Runways? And
There were some strong choices. Um,
I like that. There were strong choices. Like what?
I mean, I loved Miriam, and we loved the Psychic Sally, but overall, it was a great cast. It was great celebrities being on a Snatch Game. However, the delivery could have done better.
No, look, I thought all of them did well. It wasn't as car crashy as some Snatch Games have been.
There was
True.
no Beyonce.
True.
Like, I don't feel that anyone completely bombed either in wearing funny enough or wearing portraying who they're meant to be portraying. Right? I would agree that Bimini
Yeah,
deserved to win that hands down. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It was
100%.
You know what I mean? The whole for the 8 minutes that we are showing, I mean, they probably filmed it for about 2 or 3 hours. But the 8 minutes that sort of we are showing, you know what I mean? She was on it completely. Everything was within character. Fantastic.
Very dark.
Trying to who though? Well, I'll try and go through them in order. Tia Coffey's Scary Spice. Yeah, it was good, but a lot of tricks I think was missed.
She only kept with one way of doing it. She could have
She's going with the Eddie Murphy reference.
and that
And
was
again,
it.
I don't know where that was that she did almost do an Eddie Murphy reference, or whether it's an editing thing where the answer that they've chose to show were all Eddie Murphy
I
related.
think that's such an old topic we related to her, isn't it?
Aye, I
Like,
think
she's done so much, like America's Got Talent and the book. Well, she wouldn't have seen Masked Singer by then.
Many
but
other things, yeah.
Sister Sally Buxton
Oh,
was there. I think it was a good choice, well executed, but it's something that we've kind of saw before done better. But I don't think there was anything wrong with it or anything bad. But it was very much like Fifi O'Hara's when she did the Long Island medium.
One note.
yeah.
But a lot of it was that you said, yeah, like a lot of it's still there. Miriam
But in
Margolyes
comparison-
was a good Miriam Margolyes.
But just took what she's actually said in person.
And was too smart. But I would admit it is a hard. It's like round about that is one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know whether I would do well on Drag Race, because the weeks that you should be top in, you're going to overthink it, and it's a bad week if I don't do well in the acting challenge. It'd be a bad week if I dance challenge me didn't do well. So there is that extra pressure there.
But we've learnt now you don't tell anybody you're good at these things. There's no expectation if you fail.
I was really impressed with Ellie Diamonds.
It was really good.
Matt Lucas as Vicky Pollard.
A lot of
Vicky.
stuff about his reach out to drag
Vicky.
queens.
I feel as if I've missed someone because the next one's going to
Taste.
Tace. Oh, sorry, Tace as Kath and Kim, which I
Which
thought was
was
fantastic as
Funny.
well.
It was funny, yes.
Um,
And then Louis Spence when Horror done Louis
I'm
Spence.
going to go back to something about Tace in a minute, but it's opening a can of worms. Louis Spence was Louis Spence,
Dance.
and Bimini was Bimini. So I think overall, they all did very well on portraying the celebrities, making them like funny. Yes, some people didn't maybe hit it as well as they would have liked or as people expect them to or they should have. But overall, I felt it was a strong Snatch Game. But Bimini clearly, like from the first moment she started, was clearly.
I think the problem
On
a lot of them make sometimes is they'll pick who they're going to do and they'll have their set answers and they'll write a script for going in, where it's more like your answer not always going to fit the question, but you're just going to say it anyway. I think you need to find who you're good at, not just because you kind of look like them, because that's one note. Someone you know you can do, where you could improv in the style of them at least to keep it fresher. Because you could easily say something that's like, it's funny, it didn't really fit well with that question it asked you, but you've clearly came in with that in your head remembered.
Because
Sister made a good point before Snatch Game, and it's something that I think I've spoke about before, of picking someone that's not overly known that you can create your own character roundabout.
You can give your own narrative to that
Um,
person's
But I don't feel that any of them like done that. Like, because their sister said that, I thought, sister's going to come in with something that's a wee bit more obscure, that no one's going to know who they are really, and is going to educate you in that person without having to do a good impression. But I would say most people would know who Sally Buxton was.
She's famous for getting it wrong.
Um,
Have you seen all the outclips? Like, have you got an uncle who's deep? No. Have you? Aye. Is his name James? No. Right, we'll move on. Somebody got an auntie who's deep.
Very hit and miss, to be honest. But ultimately, Snatch Game is just another form of improv, to be honest, because that's what it is. It's just an improv.
I can't actually read it, so I need it bigger. So, probably calling it, but I don't think Laws's choice was too smart.
Strong opinions.
Yeah, but I would say, to an extent that I agree with that. I would say that Lawrence's was a fairly obscure reference that you have to have watched a lot of Miriam Margolyes interviews to sort of understand where he was trying to go with it. And I think was trying to do too much Miriam Margolyes than drag queen being Miriam Margolyes.
She was saying literally word for word what she said in interviews.
Literally on the interview. Yeah. I know the part of the cream knickers because I've seen it and I was like I get it.
And it's going to try and force into an answer.
I mean, she could have took it anywhere. She could have even referenced it to Harry Potter or to any other movies. That would have been funny. Did you know what I mean? She had a massive spectrum where she could take it.
If you go and know Miriam Margolyes says what she wants, is quite crude. You can make up your own jokes and own stories. You know, she's an actress who knows a lots of other actors. She's a classic actress who's very dirty and rude and is a lesbian. I mean, there's so much you could do that without actually telling the Laurence Olivier story.
That's what she did Laurence Olivier story, but she could have done sort of more like name dropping ideas. If you think of a Laurence Olivier story and stuff like that, rather than retelling that story, being like, oh well, as I used to say to Laurence Olivier, or when I did this with Dame Judi Dench, I think there were reasons to go with that choice, and also you need to remember that you don't know the questions going in, and it is a different environment and pressure that is there. Talking about tastes, and I know that this is going to get me cancelled and all that. Taste, who is a person who is black and minority ethnic, I think was doing a Caucasian character, would that have been acceptable the other way around? I'm not saying it wasn't acceptable because I think he did a great job. I'm just thinking if you'd flipped that in your head and had Lawrence doing Whoopi Goldberg, would that
be perceived differently? It would have been perceived differently.
Played the same way. I think what he did was amazing and brilliant. But it's just if you sort of look at things like that, it's the same way like Bob did Carol Channing in his sort of Snatch Game. That I'm sort of think like, especially considering not in that episode, but in the preview for the next episode, the comments coming out as, I've only just found out that Raven's white. Why does she paint so dark? Is there sort of difference there between a non-white person doing a white celebrity? Would it be perceived the same way, or as a white drag queen doing a non-white celebrity and doing it to such a high level?
Yeah.
I mean, if the floor party, then you're fucked. And there's extra things there, but if a white person had done a non-white celebrity to that higher level, would it be perceived in the same way as a non-white drag queen doing a white celebrity?
I think to be controversial, I think we all can agree that it's a double standard when it comes to stuff like that.
I think because
white people have been seen to be the perpetrators of racism for so long that it's one of the ones you can't punch up. Like a bully can't be a bullied victim can't bully back because you can't punch up. If I think the saying goes.
Yeah.
Like it depends. Like if a white person said to a person of color, but didn't go fully racist and try and black up, it might be accepted, but I don't think it would be.
Definitely, it wouldn't be perceived the same way. Basically, it just wouldn't. As you said, there is that double standard going on when it comes to white people portraying somebody else. Yeah.
Look, and I'm fully not trying to condone that, like, white people should be in black characters or stuff like that. But it was just when I saw it, and I thought, right, okay, she did that brilliantly, and we're going with a colourblind casting idea of it. That's great. But I'm like, I wouldn't have flown the other way around if someone had done like Whoopi Goldberg or Halle Berry or
Diana Ross, yeah.
Shirley Bassey, and I think Shirley Bassey is probably as non-white as you can sort of go
without going too far. Yeah,
that makes it. I don't. Although Tia Coffey would be the correct ethnicity for that.
Yeah.
Right, so if you're reading that, I'll watch you.
I'm just trying to read that. I can't.
So on to the sort of like the runway, so it's prehistoric, and I would say most people did really well on the runway. I wouldn't say there was any that I disliked. I felt that all sort of fit the brief. Bimini thinking completely outside the box and doing an Aniba, I think was sort of like really smart. And it is one of those things that could have went either way.
Is it one of those? Is it a double standard thing when they slated Joe Black for being too smart for being the colour of the inside of the palace?
Yeah.
And is an Aniba prehistoric? Is that pre-man?
Yeah.
She's gone too far back.
Maybe going too
she's
far.
She's no longer
back.
Prehistoric. She's pre-man.
She went to the beginning. She went to the very beginning.
Our group just came as light in the beginning. There was right.
I mean, yes, the movie back here and then he was then, and well, no, prehistoric is pre-man though.
But there was cavemen. There was an informing.
Not in prehistoric.
Well, why did they not come as dinosaurs? They'll come as cave people.
Oh, okay. Because there is that whole sort of like the dinosaurs were before humans evolved to being humans.
Like I did see all the
regulations of that, but yeah.
Right. So there's that comment there, so we'll talk about that and then we can go through the rest of them.
I think Lawrence has definitely got a recognisable in a silhouette and he knows works for their body and their shape.
Yeah.
But he looks good
I mean, put it that way, we know a certain queen that wore the same silhouette, the same dress, and still won.
I think it's similar, but not the same. He wears gowns a lot.
Yeah.
It's the same, but I don't think it's the same silhouette.
On the runway,
because he's wore the fishtail one, which is different from an off-the-shoulder cut long gown.
Right, so Jenny McIntosh, full-length gown with like big hips, but I think Lawrence used to get big hips anyway. What's week 2? Was that the sewing challenge? No. What was week 2? Steam.
I cannot remember.
Oh, it was the reveals. Which was
which was the blue with the tartan.
Week 3 was the gold dress, Mother of the Bride dress, which okay, same silhouette, but it was more of a top and dress than top skirt and dress. Week 4 was that the Monster mashup?
I was just going to say that was the Monster one, yeah.
So the Monster mashup was a short asymmetrical dress.
It could be that he just.
Oh no, week 5's Monster mashup.
I mean, it could be that they know their body so well, so it looks very similar all the time because they know what works. He's not going to put himself in something unflattering.
Yeah.
So he knows all the shapes and silhouettes that works within his pad, within his shape. Like, they've all been dresses. He's no what he's sorry, I had one jumpsuit. But they've all been dresses. He's not really done a bodysuit or like straps or
I would say compared to some people, yes, there's a lot of the same shape there, but compared to some people this season or previous seasons, I wouldn't say it was necessarily all the same dress or silhouette, but
Bianca came out in a lot of the same silhouette
and
off the shoulder.
Bianca wore the same dress.
That's it.
Seaside was wants to come back. There's I'm missing week 4 because week 5 is most of the mashup. So it's week 4.
Was
That's
that the
when Jenny went
musical?
out. So that's no, that
Not the
was,
musical one.
no, it was week 2.
Was it the design
right,
challenge and the
right,
gold
right,
thing?
right.
No, well, that was what was week
It was
10.
3, 4.
Like, so I'm missing an example here. I think there has been a lot of gown-esque things there. But as far as I'm aware, they're given like 15 runway suggestions and they don't know what order what's going to get used. So it could be luck of the draw.
That's it.
I wouldn't say they're necessarily all
That's
the
it.
same, but I do understand that out of the 6 weeks they've done, at least 3 of them have been floor length gown.
And then she had
But I
the
think
cap.
with a lot of them, you could really sort of say the same thing. Sorry, that is my phone's going Bellio and it's over there, and I'm trying to reach over and find out why it's going Bellio in case I'm getting it out.
No, I did like his runway like this week.
Oh no, that's fine. Someone tell me
Very classic.
I'm not there. I'm there now. Okay, that's fine. No, his runway this week, I like the prehistoric. Like I would say, it's very similar to a lot of the other things. He's still a sort of gown, but the prehistoric, and to do that sort of look, your options are a full gown in animal print, or cave women costume and doing like a sort of short dress.
But so did a lot of them not do? Cave women like looking like a Bam Bam out of.
I think there was one. I think did Ellie not do Bam Bam? Like it was clearly Bam
Did Ahura
Bam.
not have quite a similar silhouette?
Ahura was
like
Ahura
black
was
print.
like a skeleton, a 3D printed skeleton over her. Which was good.
And over her face as well.
In the box too, I would be lip syncing this, which you could have.
That's it.
Sorry, we're still here. We're just reading comments.
Oh, right, sorry. Somebody's telling me that Ellie did Pebbles, but it was more like Bam Bam. I do apologise.
Sorry, Pebbles.
Sister did, I think, standard cave woman esque with. I didn't understand the big hair, but
oh yeah, the
'60s,
the 60s style.
It was the over sculpted 60s beehive that was like 2 foot tall, but it looked sort of okay.
It was wonky as well. It was very slanted. It wasn't even straight up. It was just.
Very observant.
I'm going to put Dean's comment up. Right. Yes, the fans trying to stay in the fans and be constructive and critic. Yes, is digging into my arse, but we're not actually here to. Right, we're not on the show, so we can sit here and say whatever the fuck we want, but you do need to remember: one, these are human beings. 2, what you see has been
edited.
Whether or not it's edited or not, is been edited. So I will comment on what we see and what we don't like, but I will try and
shit sandwich it.
Aye, basically sort of shit sandwich it so that it doesn't become, well, I don't like this, and you come across like some of the drag queens that talk about it online, and it becomes a case of I'm better, I'm not on. What the fuck they doing on it should be me. Like, I'm reviewing it as a TV show and as a competition, like the other competitions that I have judged, right? Where you go, I can't do that, but this is what you're giving is. So here's what you're.
Mhm.
I know the outfits aren't actually edited, but you get my point. And an overall thing.
I know we don't want to bring
Sounds
up the other
fun.
point. You get them already.
What?
We're not going to bring up the other
Wanted.
point.
I mean, they haven't. We'll get into that. Tia Coffee's. I feel it always happens though in Drag Race. See if Michelle or someone is telling you to do something. It always
And
happens.
she's-
The week that you actually do it is the week you go home.
Yeah, because it's too late.
And don't come up with receipts of, oh no, well she said this and that and that. But in general, when they sort of like tell them to change something up, the person changes it up and they get sent home. Yes, she had a waste. But
that
even
pterodactyl.
that wasn't enough to save that outfit.
I think Michelle was saying she
No.
wants me the way she wants something to look. Not that there's nothing wrong with being homemade.
And
I don't
costuming.
want you to walk out in the runway looking like you've just finished that outfit before you walk out.
I like Tia Coffee. Like, I
Yeah.
really like Tia Coffee as a pet. Well, I don't know her as a person, but watching her, the character of Tia Coffee on that TV show,
Sounds lovely. I would love a
You
night
know,
out with her.
I really sort of like. But I do get the fact that all of our runway looks have, whether they are or not, look like high-end packet costumes. But I'm not saying that they're all packet costumes, and I think she had went and got them made. But they have a look of like packet costumes you spend a wee bit more money on. And the sort of pterodactyl look was
Pterodactyl.
it was a caftan with a headpiece. And I'm led to believe that the veins on the pterodactyl were rhinestoned. I couldn't see that on my screen. But I'm led to believe through comments that it was sort of rhinestone there. I couldn't see any sort of rhinestone or sparkle.
I
but I'm
couldn't
sure
see
other
any. She said she was covered in rhinestones, and I did pause and I was like, "There's no rhinestones, honey. What are you talking about?"
So the problem was called in rhinestones. Them rhinestones just weren't reading. Who have we missed out? Tace's sort of like voodoo witch doctor look. Yep, prehistoric. That worked. I don't feel like any of the outfits over the whole season have been terrible. There's some where
they
you go,
haven't.
like, I think one of the issues is that in terms of the runway has definitely been elevated this year compared to last year. If you're just looking at the UK version, and even overall, there's a lot more runway looks. Whereas compared to last year, I think there's a lot of people whose outfits aren't hitting the mark, but would have been fabulous last year.
Like,
but this,
when you look at Bag of Chips, a lot of her outfits were like critiqued, but her personality. It was the first season in the UK, and they could be classed as regional or local as well.
There's a lot of Bag of
High
Chips
street
stuff
made.
that maybe wasn't off the rack. That could either have been called off the rack. So our Bond Girl look was
A glittery blazer and a glittery trousers.
pair of trousers. Our Date the Races was very sort of like
I went to
Mother of
Max
the
and
Bride.
Spencer's and got a nice dress and got a drag hat with it.
So like, I do sort of see the point that there is a big difference between what's been put in the runway season 2 compared to what's been put in the runway season 1. And that's nothing against season 1 runways, but there is that sort of difference that there's a lot more look queens or queens who have spent time on their look.
Like for me, the worst overall was last week with Tia Coffee's ice cream. I thought she was a cupcake when she walked out.
Yeah, it's
the
idea was there. It wasn't.
Where was the flake?
executed.
She could have put a flake on it. That would have said that's an ice cream.
She's cherry in her head. I don't understand how that's an ice cream, but maybe
quite an
it's where
American
she's
thing.
from. There's a cherry in the top. But it was another costume that looked like an expensive party costume rather than an ice cream cone.
Like she could have easily bought something or made something cheap off the rack with similar effect. If she's seen she's made that one,
And it would have,
like,
and it could have looked much
you get this,
effective, much
a long
better.
brown, like kind of like Victorian skirts that button up the back. Put the lines on it with a big pirate puffy white top and rhinestone it with multicolour so it looks like sprinkles in a flake. That's more high fashion runway and the same idea. Because a bit that looked like the Waver had no lines on it that you can see.
It was a short. Also, I feel that the dress had to be longer. For it to be a cone.
Yeah, it should have been a lot longer.
Right.
And it could have been shaped into a cone, but it wasn't.
I feel like it could have been done. But I'll use as a Dame sort of reference, right? I couldn't have worn what Tia wore as an ice cream as a Dame going out as an ice cream cone because no one would have said that was an ice cream cone. And I think that if you're going to do something that is very sort of like costumey like that, and I know that no one else probably thinking about Dame, but I'm looking at it going, if it's something that's over costumey, could I wear that in Panto and they would know what I was doing? Right, Joe's outfit, definitely. I would love to wear Joe's outfit. I thought it was hilarious for that week.
I did think it was Sherry Valentine. Is it Valentine?
Cherry Valentine.
When you see her Instagram, she posted the exact same. At the side, same colour scheme. Same colour scheme. Blown to the side.
Blown to the side, but without all the extra stuff. So it's stuff like that I really like. Most of Lawrence's stuff, I would probably wear. And probably still got my Dame hoops. If you want, just give me all those dresses, I'll put my costume. So other looks at and say a prehistoric week. I'm like, nah, it's probably not much I would wear on prehistoric week. I like Lawrence's. I could wear something similar to Lawrence's. I don't have the body for a lot of them. I like Ahora's for Ahura. I couldn't wear that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I mean, I loved Lawrence's. What was it? It was the when he done the monster mashup. I could see myself in that leather skin type thing. Yeah,
I wanted it 2 inches longer at the high side, but that's just me. I think it was just.
And I'm still torn on the red tights.
I understand the reason for the red tights, so it looks as if the skin's been ripped off them. Like, I totally get that, but I do understand why some people are against the red tights because they're like, what the fuck are you wearing red tights for?
Especially because the split was too high at the side, you could see her arse and too far up. If it was a pair of normal tights with a pair of pants underneath it, you're still getting all your desired effect.
You do. I mean, those red pants, no.
It was a very emotional week. Did they not all cry?
Back to this week. Why are we going back? There was a lot of crying this week.
Yeah.
But it is a very high-pressured situation that they're in, so you can't moan at them for crying. But I do understand a lot of people's comments of there was too much crying. As a viewer watching the TV show, it was a wee bit like, oh God, there's another one. But I wouldn't actually say that was from a viewer point of view, fair enough. But thinking of it as being what these people are having to go through and live through, that's different. You know what I mean? There probably is a high pressure. Ellie thinking about her twin brother. Tia feels that she's still not making the mark. Lawrence's bubble being sort of burst and realising that one, that what he should be good at is the week that he's missed the mark, and two, he could be going like Lawrence hasn't had a bad week until Snatch Game and could literally have been top, win, sitting home.
Yeah.
Like, that would, I can seriously understand someone sort of crying there with the overkill emotion while you're stuck in a hotel room by yourself. You know what I mean? Then in this sort of high pressure working by.
I think the big problem is the public was so aware of how reality TV works, and the contestants are so aware of how reality TV works. How can you tell if that's genuine or they're wanting their airtime? Plus, we don't know it's high problems and we know it's high pressure. but we know how quick that show's filmed. This is only the second episode back. They've only been there about a week and a half. I don't know.
Yeah, you've been there waiting half, but they've also been stuck in the house with no human contact, potentially for 6-7
time.
months.
Very long time, exactly.
I think it's just we all know how reality works now, and we all
Yeah.
know they know how it works.
Yeah, I would.
It's hard to differentiate between genuine, I'm stressed out my nut, I need a cry, or I've done bad this week, or I've not got enough airtime, I think, this week. Here's a story.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I'm sure all their crying and their stories and their heartfelt moments were genuine. I'm just saying, it's easy
Oh,
to
yeah.
misconstrue.
Yeah, I don't feel that there was too much. There was, so Ellie sort of started crying, and luckily we get full story out because Ellie spoke in the previous episode about how her whole family had to sort of separate
Mm.
due to the
Mhm.
pandemic, and then started talking about being flung out and start doing drag, and I'm watching it going, what? I thought you only moved out during the pandemic. Then as she gets in, so you realise, like, she was flung out and basically been told, no, you're coming back in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I was like, and I'm going, have I watched something else? And I'm mixing it. So I do feel as if all the crime was justified,
Uh-huh.
but
So it wasn't just for a show, yeah.
I would say that all the crime was sort of justified, but at the same time, although they've cried there, I do think producers and editors are going to use it to try and create
Mhm.
drama. At the same time, as much as like, the producers now know, it's not even just about creating drama on the show. The producers will now do things so that people will have these conversations on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, because it drives up the interest in the show as a
The
whole.
viewers, yeah.
Because people
Of
are
course
talking
it
about
does.
it. So if
Just
3 of them
marketing,
have
innit?
tried 1 week, then yeah, we're going to show the 3 of them kind of 1 week, hoping to get that reaction from the public of, oh, I all they did was cry.
There'll be the snippets that get on put on BBC YouTube, BBC
Mhm.
3 YouTube will be put out.
So I think it's a design challenge they're doing next week. I think from it looks as if it's a dragon a dime sort of challenge that they're doing
Mm.
with what you sort of saw, which could be fun or interesting. I knew I'd lost the nail.
I feel like some Dragon a Dime always is a controversial one when it comes to them. Some of them just really can't do it. But for me personally, I like if someone's done it well, I still want it to
Right.
look like it's Dragon a Dime. I want to see little snippets of it. Oh, like that's a car cushion. That's
And you
done
made it
well.
into a fucking couture dress. Yeah.
Or you did American Mummy, just hot glue fucking paper bags to your body.
I don't.
Don't even get me started on them bags.
For me, for the Dragon a Dime, I prefer to see something that doesn't look as if it's homemade until you actually look at it. So someone did a full gown out of wallpaper in one of the American seasons, and it had a lovely big ruffle here, and it does not look like wallpaper until you look at it and go, fuck, that was wallpaper. Ben de la Creme hot glued that whole dress for the Golden Girls one, looked like a dress. And the British one last year for the sort of Dragon a Dime, the Vivian's one, yes, it was shoulder pads with videotape on it, but it still looked
But
like an
Davina,
outfit. It wasn't just, oh, look, I'm wearing rubbish. And I think for me, I prefer it to look like an outfit that happens to be made out of.
different material. Yeah.
I think Davina's was the best from last year.
No, it was. It's clearly laundry bags. You wouldn't immediately go, oh God, she's wearing laundry bags. She'd use the laundry bags to make a trouser suit.
So,
Anyway, but if
Which
you
is
agree
very
with our
difficult,
opinions, please pop money in the PayPal so we can keep getting them. And if you don't agree with our opinions, pop money in the PayPal so that Not So Straight Talk can afford a better panel for next week.
so just off the topic slightly. Did you know the song Bing Bang Bong they've done?
Yes.
It's actually number 27 in the top 100 charts in the UK.
It sounded like 25 last time I heard.
Was it?
25 last time I heard. Well, sorry, no. UK King Dolls was at 25 and Banana Drama was like at 264 or something. I can't remember the exact number, but there was like a big sort of, there was this whole article about the UK King Dolls being at this level, and then at the bottom just like Banana Drama are in the charts at this, and it was like 264.
Like I think it's good. It's catchy. I don't know. I can't decide if I actually like it.
It's
Like I loved like Read You Wrote You,
uh-huh.
and I loved last year's one.
Yeah.
With Frog
I
This one
actually
just seems
didn't like Frogs Destroyed, to be honest. I did like the song, but I didn't like it to the extent that it could have gone to the charts. Like this song, I love it, and I love the fact that it's a drag song and it's in the mainstream media. You don't see that. You don't see that often, or you don't see it at all. And now you see it with something that was done last week, and it's already, at the very top in the top 25, if you would say. Do you know what I mean? It's like amazing. It's amazing.
For me, it's like Baby Shark and Crazy Frog. It's an earworm song. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a great song, but it's like Baby Shark, but it's just stuck in your head.
Are you about to do
It's
that?
catchy.
Aye.
Did she sing the same song?
And I think, yeah, it's going to be great on, when they do get to do sort of live shows, that, they're going to sort of do it. They're either going to be together and they're going to do it together, or two of them are going to be together and it's going to be them trying to do the other parts that you see in the other ones.
So, do you know, that would be their intro song every time they do a gig. Lawrence Cheney walks out on the stage. Welcome, Lawrence Cheney. Bing, bang, bong. Welcome, Bounty. Sing, sang, song.
I mean, Club Kids have already organised the UK King Dolls tour. United King Dolls.
Oh, Frog Destroyer.
United King Dolls, yeah.
They're very supportive, but they're like the first one who brought it.
There's been a Frog Destroyers tour as well.
But do you know what I mean? Like, they've been the first one that have came out with a song that done well and have stuck together and had more music and released music videos and all that.
Yeah.
That done a year and a bit, tour of Frog Destroyers, and I've not been able to do it now for the new album and the new songs, and then here comes a new one right underneath them.
I still think that because all the United King Dolls tour is going to do is take away from the Tasting of Horror tour. So rather than that happening, it'll be United King Dolls tour. I think the Frog Destroyers tour, if there is one, will still go ahead. I think the United King Dolls is just going to replace one of the solo tours or double tours for someone that's in the United King Dolls.
And anyone watching, I would only go to their gig if you actually like the Queens, because the show is that song's only going to appear once. Then it's just going to be the Queens doing their own individual act or number. So if you don't like half the cast and you're paying all that money for a song, just buy it after them. They'll appreciate that. Well, no, because RuPaul gets the money. If they release a new album, buy that one.
Yeah.
Get it for the charge for them. But if you like all the Queens, I would maybe go and see them all. I like that group.
But
it's weird thing, but knowing Lawrence and that, I feel like, well, for me, I feel like Lawrence is vastly different from Bimini. How would they work in the same bill?
But how does the UK drag tour work anyway, though?
Aye.
And I think it would work because you'd have Lawrence would come out and change like a bit of stand up or a funny sort of number. How's Lawrence going to cope if they tell him that he can't do his own intro and outro? I think that'll be interesting if there's somebody else hosting and Lawrence doesn't get to finish his number and grab the microphone.
Depends. Lawrence still technically works for Slate and stuff.
Aye. But you know what? So I think that sort of work. Bimini come out and do her number. Bimini Tasting the Horror, I think come out and sort of do their. I think you can sort of make it work. Especially because people are there to see them rather than
song.
But even sort of still, it's different from like when we go to a show. We know our audience is they are basically looking for a theatrical sort of style of drag. So if it's the three of us going, that's what they're looking for when they see us. Whereas if with them going to do a tour, they're looking to see Bimini Taste over at Lawrence Cheney.
I think it's a good lineup.
It is. It's very.
I would say most of the Queens this season, I'd be happy to go and see live.
I would give all of them a chance at least once to go and see them. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it would be worth it. It would be much better to see them in person. Yeah.
and if they want to reduce their booking fees and someone else wants to up budgets, I'll book them. But that's but that's not going to happen. Is there anything else from this episode before we go into sort of like the untuckedness of this episode?
Mm.
I can't think.
No.
We done runway, we done challenge.
I don't know whether that's a personal thing or whether it is true. I've saw it sort of commented all the time. I think some people have been very harsh. But was Sister getting ahead of herself when she was calling Ahora's Louis Spence shit? Because I don't think it was shit.
I
And
don't think it was shit. I think it was just getting back, getting back to what was the week before with the runway, especially with the Seaside one and with that whole drama. That's my opinion.
It just seems like Sister back with a bee in her bonnet.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was hardly speaking. I was a bit maybe boring before I left. I'm going to come back. I'm going to shit stir. I'm not, or maybe she's thought, oh, I got talked over a lot and I didn't get to speak my mind, so now I'm going to force it to make sure you hear me. If you're going to call me shit behind my back now, I'm going to sit here and take it. It's not going to happen anymore.
I don't.
Surprised you can get anything out with their teeth.
I know.
Don't know whether to kiss her or take a piss in her with that.
I would agree. Ellie and Sister for Luke and for Snatch Game were safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say Ahura was in the safe category as well. I don't necessarily. I think the fact that Ahura was the fifth person on the judges' critiques lineup was probably more to do with they knew that they were making Ahura safe anyway, so just put Ahura as the third one rather than Sister, because we've already had her a couple of weeks of being low. She wasn't actually that bad. We know who the bottom two are. Let it be safe and chill for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Sister should have been in the bottom three or anything like that, but I don't think it was necessarily that Ahura deserved to be in the bottom three and Sister didn't. I think it's more a case of right, there's the bottom two. We need a third person here, so we're either putting we're either having three tops and two bottoms, or two tops, two bottoms, and the person that's sort of like safe at the bottom side. I think it's easier to put a safe bottom in than it is to try and put in a.
Always be a safe bottom, children.
We love a good bottom.
Like I say, Sister has come back.
Oh, I can't see anything with these contacts. Oh.
As Effie said before, we're just seeing the edited, scripted version of that character, of that person. You don't know the full backstory.
And also them potentially playing a character whether they realise it or not.
But I agree with you, it seems like she's came back with a complex. It seems that way from all I'm seeing.
But I mean, she's going home next weekend anyway, so it's fine. I think. I don't know. She could go far in a sort of. I feel like there are a couple of them that may go further. No, I'm not saying further than they deserved, but further than people expect because they slipped under the radar. But you see that with all sort of competitions.
Well, look, Bianca was the just sailed by one.
Exactly.
I wouldn't necessarily win in challenges.
She won now in a game. She was safe a lot.
She was.
Just
She hasn't
sailed by
necessarily
being
been
sort of
winning.
safe. She should be the winner. So it could be that Sister and Ellie are going to be the top two, just by sort of plodding along.
Just like with
as
Cheryl,
when.
she ended up being goalie safe, never won anything, and then top four she went out.
It's the way it always works. It's usually you'll get to the final four or final three, and there'll be two. It's like I'm happy with either two they win. There's always that one. It's like, why are you in there?
Aye.
Do you always get to like the top 4 and you're like, right, you know what one's gone home, you know who's making the top 3, and then when it goes to the top 3, it's like there's usually a clear winner or 2 split winners, and there's that other one that's done good enough to get to top 3, but you're thinking, are you
But
really
it's
there?
there.
Well, think about it like Bag of Chips, the Vivian and Davina. Overall, throughout the show, I think when you look at perspective everything between Runway Looks challenges, lack of critiques, how well, this Great Vina challenge might have got less criticism from it. Vivian and Davina were probably could go either way. And Bag had done well enough to get to the top 3, but it's like you've stumbled too much to win.
Yeah.
How she stumbled too much?
I see what you mean.
Well, our runways were always a lot less high end and well executed than some of them.
But she sold them.
She sold them, but that's just
Well, she sold them, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would say overall as a sort of good cast. There's no one that I dislike. I'm even more warm to A'Whora now. Because at one point, and that was against A'Whora, the human being, but at one point I was watching what had been portraying the tail and being like, you're trying too hard to be a bitch. That's not how it works. Like, you understand the benefit of a villain edit, and you're trying too hard for the villain edit, so you're not coming across as the villain, you're coming across as a cunt.
I agree. I like all of them.
But I'm liking her now. Like, when she first had a revelation moment, I was like, oh, here we go, crocodile tears. Because I'm a cold-hearted bitch that way.
I mean, but with that much filler and Botox, it's hard to squeeze the tears out.
Right. But now I do think, actually, you're not that bad. Yes, you had a couple of weeks where I think you were trying too hard to go for that sort of like villain edit. But it's literally just a case of you went in, you've tried to do something, and then you've realised, why the fuck am I bothered? Trying to be so nasty. It's not actually going to help me in any way.
And I think it depends what your history is outside into. Like, if you're not used to having drag friends or doing all that, the intimidation level of walking in of all these people trying to be big personalities and trying to win. And I run 6 nights this in London, and I do this and I do that, and
it can get intimidating.
You're like, oh, I'm shit, and you always know sometimes when that happens, you just end up spewing it out unintentionally.
Yeah.
I could imagine walking in there. It must be intimidating because you're either walking in thinking nobody knows who the fuck I am, or you're walking in, everyone knows who I am. I've got higher to fall.
Or you're walking in thinking everyone knows who you are, and then realise how small the pond you're in is. That makes sense, which I think could probably happen to a lot of people. Where, so I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of most of them. I understand that the rest of the UK has heard of them. I'd heard of Ginny Lemon before. I'd heard of Tace. Only because I'm pretty sure Tace did like the last Suck Harder or the Suck Hard before, although I didn't go to it.
I'm sure he did.
I recognised the sort of name before they sort of left. Lawrence and Ellie, obviously, I knew who they were.
Well, I knew who Jenny was, and I knew Cherry Valentine because
didn't know Cherry Valentine, didn't know Veronica, and didn't know Bimini. Even though Bimini was like, yeah, you know who I am, darling, but I don't know who you are. It's nice to have a fan. I'm like, I appreciate that maybe people in London don't know who you are, but how many people could honestly say that they knew who she was?
I think it's an age complex and a London complex.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
you're big on social media, so I assume everyone your age knows you. Or you're in London, the capital. You think, oh, I know the big queens in London. I am a big queen in London. Well, little 50-year-old gay man who goes to a Brighton pub to watch a drag queen's not going to know who you are.
I mean, she's on that cabaret touring circuit,
which I don't at the time she was.
I don't think
she's not for being a big personality in London. I've been like a dancer in the bars, maybe a door.
I think Bimini's more of a party girl.
Like she does the brunch.
From what I've heard from other people,
she entertains.
Bimini's higher there, so that people will go.
She's like
because she's there to like do shots and do a number and
she's like an old-fashioned club. To add a bit of excitement to the night.
Yeah, it's like a modern version. Yeah.
She has. I don't think I wouldn't say there's any of them there that don't deserve to be there.
No.
No, all of them deserve to be
There's
there.
maybe one of them that I'm kind of, I feel like I've saw enough and I'm not interested in them anymore. They can, not in a bad way, just like, I don't think I'll miss them if they go. But, and I don't, from what I've heard from people who either know them or should know them, a lot of them are sort of like the same, like, aren't, like, as much as other people might not like Lawrence, I still love Lawrence because he's from Glasgow.
Yeah,
A lot of
he's
the
representing.
I've heard anyone, and I feel sorry for him if that is the case. I've not saw anyone jump to their defence at any point. And I've saw about him has been people asking why they are there, which is a shame, but I probably wouldn't miss him if they went.
Who's this?
Sister.
All right.
I was trying not to say who it was. That's why I started to say even the folk from Liverpool I've saw talking don't seem to be.
Mm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. She probably is fantastic and she's done really well on the show. I just,
But
there's nothing that's making me go, right, okay, I want to.
You're not like, oh, I can't wait to see you do a singing challenge. I can't wait to see you do that. I can't wait to see what you wear next week.
she's doing great, but she's not doing to the point where people get excited over her.
But I don't know what it is. And you is the sort of response that I've had, either talking to people or seeing people doing stuff like this. It's been the same sort of similar response that everyone seems to go like, who is she?
Who is she? Who is she?
But
She's the creature of the night.
Well, she's somebody new, bitch. I'll use more about her. She's somebody new.
Another thing, which kind of on that topic, it is amazing. Have you noticed as well the number of, have you ever been like in the company of like bar owners and bookers in a social setting, or in a sort of work setting, but not necessarily working with them? How often they moan about certain queens, but as soon as those queens are in Drag Race, boom, they're booked. People who will never be booked again in my club, right? I'm not having them. There's no way they're coming here. Fuck, they're on Drag Race.
Drag Race.
Oh, my face, pal. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But we all know when money comes into the equation, all's forgiven and all's forgotten. Because that drag queen could hate that bad, and they've said, "I'm never going back." Oh, you're paying me my fee now? Of course, I'll be back.
I'm not disagreeing with it because I think it's human nature that we're all going to do it.
It's just good business, isn't it? If you're in the business, if you think, it's going to bring asses in.
But it is so. Like, you go like, you've literally spent 6 months bad mouthing this person. Every time I see you, you tell that story, and now all of us into the
bag of chips. I hear that reputation before she went in. Of turning up late, turning up pissed, taking drugs, forgetting she's there halfway through the night.
So did Viv. Like, Viv used to just get
Viv been as well.
And this is what I've seen myself.
Something wrong, but that might mean that someone liked something wrong. And we told them that, they were talking that they wouldn't book something wrong again. And then I saw 2 weeks later, something wrong is coming to insert bar here. And I'm like,
yeah.
I think it is because, like, I understand it and I would probably do the same, but there is still sort of part of me that's like,
have a bit of backbone.
If it was as bad as you were making out it was, there's another 12 people that you could have picked.
Do you know what the problem is? It's worse because they're not famous. People think, what? Oh, you've got a fucking cheek acting like that. Sorry, when you're not famous. The news they're famous, like, oh, isn't it that bad?
Aye.
Like, if we went into no famous, a wee bit drunk, swore a wee bit too much, maybe annoyed a few customers.
Aye.
Only had one outfit. Oh, you're not coming back. We could go back next year, famous, do the same thing.
Exactly. And you get perceived differently, of course. It's a double standard.
Shows a multitude of
them.
But yeah.
And that's that.
Aye, because I was I went to talk about something else, but I was self-editing in my head.
I've just realised he's together. I thought, Oh, see, I told you I can't see properly. Fucking hell! Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay. Oh,
Okay.
It does
honestly,
mean now
I
that
thought-
if my back is sore, I can't just do what I did last week and
Disappear.
do that. Like, which what I would do last week and just sort of like carry on, sort of get up and down and move. Like, I'm now actually people actually have to see that I actually do get up and fuck off and just keep listening.
I'm still here. Bear with. Bear with.
Still there.
Uh,
So what else has been happening in the world?
Yeah. Have you heard about the, you know, the vaccination processes and the discussion of the fact that over 70s should basically move out from the proximity of children, so children or any pupils can go back to schools.
what the fuck? Oh, so on that note, Jackie, did you remember your appointment was the night at 7:30?
Probably not, because she's on this.
I know that was 8 o'clock. We only did a couple of minutes. Right? I just got to be there. Jackie, did you remember to go and get a prick? Yeah.
Your other one will be home later.
In terms of coronavirus, and schools in England are reopening from the 8th of March. Schools in Scotland are doing a phased reopening in terms of like primary 1 to 3 is going and seniors are going. It's great kids are going back. I still don't think kids should be back at school until they're allowed to go visit their granny. That's my opinion. But I understand the importance of reopening the schools. I understand the importance of the kids getting back into education. But I do not agree that kids should be sent into a classroom with 30 other kids to socialise. Because as much as you say, oh, well, social distance the kids ain't going to fucking social distance.
No, but that's the thing. We're human
Well, you
beings.
can't
We
visit your
need
granny,
that.
your cousin. But yeah, you can go back to school and you can do this.
Do you know what I think a problem is? Like, I get,
Yeah.
I'm obviously, I don't need to educate children at home.
Mhm.
I've obviously never had a child through my own cavity. But don't undersell or what's the word? Underassume. What's the word? Underestimate. Don't underestimate your child. Like, don't think that they can't go back and catch up. Don't think they're incapable of doing it at home. Like, think about during the war, kids were split up, sent to different parts of the world. Probably missed a lot of school.
Yeah, they were.
They still went on to be the scientists, the world leaders.
Mhm.
They still went on. But I get it's hard, but if you do your best at home, the best you can within your education ability, and you try and instill in your children a bit of self-push, and you
But it is.
and trust in your child and believe in your child that when it is safe and the right time to go back, that they will, through hard work and determination, will be able to catch up at some point.
Mhm.
Because they talk
I mean-
about moving everybody back years, like that doesn't work. Because then the universities are missing a good year or 2 years because everybody's went back, and then everybody's too old for first year and second year and P1.
Well, I know that I think all dental students have been held back a year.
Which students again? Sorry. Didn't hear.
All students of dentistry. And I don't know whether it's all dentistry students have been held back a year or whether it's just those that were due to graduate.
Oh.
But there was definitely a thing where the graduation of dentistry students has been moved. In some cases, it's been moved to next summer. But there's one, I think Aberdeen are graduating in December. They're not having to wait a year. They're getting to graduate 6 months later.
I mean, it could depend where their modules are. Like maybe they do a really critical module near the end of their year.
It was
They're
probably
not-
be their work experience.
Something they've not been able to do.
That's
Because when
it,
you think that is just double standards. Because when the corona broke out the first time, government was like, right, retired nurses come back, don't care how long.
That's
Last year
it.
students come back and work. There's your graduation, sign seal delivered. Just get back out and do it. I'm sure if you gave that to a dentist scheme about work experience, they could do it.
I was just something I heard on the radio after dropping off my mum and everything. I was like, that's what they're talking about, was these dentistry students aren't
Also,
going back and how it's going to have a knock-on effect on dentistry.
see when it comes to the vaccination,
Mhm.
like I know there's two different kinds, we've got two different names.
Mhm.
Are they basically the same one?
Aye.
Because where we are, the place that gives you your vaccination, depending on the day, changes what one they give you. Like some in my family went and got this strain of it,
Uh-huh.
and my gran went like the next week and got the different version of it.
It'll be to do with what's
Mm.
applied as a habit, because you have to get two of the same.
Mm.
It'll be calculated that sort of way.
Isn't it like
So-
something to do with the date as well? Like, because they've got expiration dates on them.
That is meant to, so that that may be how they're doing it. They're doing. I think it's fine until someone changes their appointment. If everyone stays in the same appointment block, then theoretically it should work.
Would you get it? Well, we know you don't like needles.
I don't know what to talk about that.
But the thing is,
um,
if you're fit,
I don't do needles, so I personally am hesitant about getting it, but only because I don't do needles. However, as someone who's talking about it on this, I feel if I need to encourage people to get the vaccine. So I probably will get it, but I don't like fucking needles, right? And the fact that it's 2 injections 2 weeks apart is really putting me off, because it's not just building myself up to one prick. I've then got 2 weeks or however long the gap is
And to have another
of
one.
knowing I've got to go back again, and it takes me long enough to sit down for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste for that second one.
I mean, put it that way. I understand why people should get vaccinated, and I understand why people would want to get it. But at the end of the day, it's to boost your immune system and to prevent you from catching it, if I got it correctly. But at the end of the day, if you feel like it is not for you and you feel like your immune system is fine, and if you cannot get it for medical reasons, then don't feel obligated to do so. Because there's a massive stigma right now that it's like this great divide between people like, yeah, you should get the vaccine and you shouldn't be doing anything else without it. And then on the other hand, you have people who can't get it because of their medical reasons. So it's
also that thing.
Sorry,
if you're
go on.
not in an age bracket, we're not important enough to get it. We're not going to get it good for another year or something.
No, I think
They're not even finished with the over 70s yet. So
maybe in
they're
North
not.
Lanarkshire, but they're on to 50 years from now.
well, they've got to 50. I'm 24.
But I think there's going to be a lull because we're about to hit dose 2, if that makes sense. But I think originally
There's been a talk of having the third one.
to be this summer, sort of like July time.
Well, anyone out there, we can't tell you what to do. You have
Exactly.
to make a conscious decision to do what you think is best for you and best for humanity. And that promise you can't get to me. But also, anyone who knows me, if is watching, I don't watch the news, and I don't.
I stopped watching
don't-
news
I don't watch anything
about a year
depressing.
ago.
As soon as I
Oh,
wake
like all
up-
you hear right now is just there's corona this, corona that, and then I'm like, but where's all the other diseases and all the older illnesses that have existed before that nobody else talks about? I mean,
Oh,
yes,
I'm not here to put
it's an
corona in
important thing. I mean, yes, it's an important thing to talk about. However, it's an important thing to talk about everything else, not just focus your direction on one thing, because you get yourself into a depression state and you get yourself into a mindset of just that is your reality. No, your reality is everything else plus coronavirus
If
issues.
you suffer from depression, don't come to my house. Because every day I go down the stairs and my grand's on her phone and she's got the news set to an alarm. And every time I go down, it's like, oh, can you believe they murdered that Wayne? Can you believe who just died? Have you seen that there's a braille swelling disease? It's more deadly than the coronavirus today. Gran, I've not even had my morning piss yet. I've just woke up and I already know about who's had an affair, who's died, who's fucked up in the government, who's gone missing, new viruses in. I pray for the good old days when it's just coronavirus. But apparently there's a new brain swelling virus.
I just want to go. I just literally want to go back to the good old days where you could just walk up to a stranger, suck him up in a bathroom. You know,
I
the
think that
good
was
days.
That was just you. No, I I do miss seeing people.
People
Not to the
who need people.
not to
I
the
mean-
extent that you do, Chris. But I do
Oh,
miss.
Stop it.
I do miss like being able to say hello. I've seen something that you might not have seen for a couple of weeks,
Very
and I'm
long
going, "Oh, hi,
time.
how are you?" That's lovely, and off you go and buy and enjoy. I think
I
it's gonna be
mean-
weird when they do not so much. Oh, they start reopening when they start reopening with less restrictions, where you can go out, but it's not as you can only go out and you can only let people from your household and your 6 meters when things are open near enough properly, and you
Mhm.
are. If you do see someone that you know, you're able to sit with them
Or give them a cuddle.
like that.
I mean,
The sort of like difference is being able to go and see someone you know and sit and have a drink with them rather than our table's over here, your table's over there, and just wave at each
Yeah.
other.
Like I've never met Chrissy in person.
Mm.
If we
no,
were
we
able to
haven't.
travel to Liverpool and we could have a night out and I could say, "You all right?" and give you a cuddle or sit at the same table.
Because I'm a hugger. That's the thing. Like,
Right.
I'm a hugger and a cassette. I always have been, and I'm not going to change. And I
No
know.
pint for it, just say,
You're a
"What?"
whole
you know.
lot of
But no, but going back to the fact that like not seeing people, like I haven't seen. Oh, where's she gone?
We're still here. We're still here.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just talking to myself. Okay.
I
Well,
can't feel my face when I sniff.
I need to try and get up, and getting up one.
What are
isn't gonna
you
be pretty,
doing
who
without
is-
me, eh? Is
I'm
doing all
playing
the
text
things?
my room so I don't get shouted at by Jackie, but I think she's either forgot her appointment and disappeared from the live, so Grant doesn't shout. Doesn't shout.
Aye. That's what I'm thinking.
Or she'd remembered and
Oh yeah,
tried
let
to
me
try
read
going
the
up.
comments.
As we scientists, yes. There's no- Oh, is there somebody who's a scientist? Are we
Good one,
scientists?
Francis. Good one, Francis.
Yeah. So Emmy's used to getting pricked.
But yeah, back to like not seeing people. On the 22nd of this month, so in 2 days, is going to be an exactly year since since the last time I've seen my mum.
So you were living in your mum's house?
Yeah. What?
Oh, so you
I'm
know,
at my mum's house.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Because when you look, like, I wonder how gradual it's going to be, because not living in these countries such as New Zealand, Australia, it seemed like we heard them going into their first lockdown, and then all we saw was them going straight to standing right beside each other at a festival. Like, I don't.
They went with a different approach. They basically shut down and then waited until there was no cases, continued with no cases, and then started opening some of the stuff up. We were allowed to go back to normality or understanding if we get a case, we're shutting down.
Just for the viewers out there, Effie is still in the room. It's no Jesus chopping. I've no
The
head
Holy
sharing away.
Spirit. The Holy Spirit. Oh, your audio's terrible. Oh. Where's she gone?
Oh, the community bit, let's open, and then numbers go back up. What did you go out for? But
I'm just laughing at the fact that the two who they probably can see are just doing silent so they hear a third voice out of nowhere. Chrissy's fanning her Oaksters.
Oh. I mean, can we just appreciate I look gorgeous today?
Like, stick with the rules you're given. And, I know, same. Well, my eyelashes are a wee
you
bit
do. Oh, I've got new lashes as well. Like,
They've
on the
done
way
the new.
around
I got these
today.
a few at the start of lockdown, but they're not quite the right shape for my face.
Oh,
But, like,
I'll
rules.
show them what I got, but they're upstairs.
Are we allowed to see what you've got without an 18+ rating? Or on Facebook?
an adult show though.
No, but
I mean, I've got
the video
a
gets
toy.
demonetized on Facebook and all that, so I've something it.
I mean, I'm looking at a toy right now that I've used in 2 of my videos.
Like, I know the word, I think people need to stop saying when the world gets back to normal, because it's not going to go back to the way it was. This is going to be our normal. It'll get eased to a point. But I am looking forward to the day when the new normal is we don't need to wait for any more going back into lockdowns, new restrictions, new rules. We're like, this is it. This is what you stick with. And if anything occurs again, like a big then we'll deal it. But for now, for the foreseeable future, this is it. Like if it goes to like always track and trace or always something, right?
Aye.
But I want a thing. No longer we're doing track and trace. You can go to a pub. No, you can't. Now you can go to Tesco. Now, no, you can't. Now you can see 2 bubble households. Now, no, you can't. Give it when it gets to the time when it's safe to give us. Here's our set of rules and restrictions, and this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Go and live your life and get on with the world. And if it occurs again, then we'll talk about it. No, cause like we'll tell you in another 3 weeks, in another 6 months, it's going to change again. In another 4 months.
I'm happy to return to some sort of normality with restrictions. You know what I mean? I'm happy for them to reduce capacities in places so that there is more space.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be a case of.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it needs to be a case of you're not worried that once things open, that you're going to shut again in 3 weeks.
Aye.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is a respiratory illness, and if it's not going to go away, it's not going to go away. But we can't stay in this state that we are. We have gone and combat worse diseases than this, and we still got on with that life. Pardon?
Stay like this, the economy and businesses they're just going to crumble and disappear.
I mean, they already have. I mean,
like,
look at the debt that this country's in right now. And if we're going to prolong this lockdown, they're going to get into bigger debt. So the economy's not going to exist. People don't talk about this on news. They talk about how many people die and that's it.
Just think about the recession we're going to be in after we come out.
Oh, girl, it's going to be worse than the 80s.
Billions of pounds applied into trying to help people of getting vaccinations, of giving furloughs, of extra funding for NHS, anything like that. All the people that have lost jobs that have now had to sign on. All these businesses taking loans that they've got no way of paying back because there's no income. As soon as all these shops who can open, they probably got that first month to get on their feet, and if they don't, they're shutting. And there's more people having to sign on. There's less jobs for more people to fight for.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I mean, put it that way. Go ahead.
I'm a drag queen.
I mean, yeah, but you know,
there's only one that can do it. Whether that's shit, good, bad, or indifferent, only I can do it.
Oh, nip slip.
I'm so glad I shaved.
Oh, Sam.
We're getting nip slip now. No by me. You're not going to get a nip slip in this bad boy.
No, I love this. It's a dress, and then I just throw a skirt on it. But it's sitting a bit low. Ah! Who's that? Is that Mother Mary?
It's me, but my back's still there, and I'm scared of us sitting doing it to be fucking painful again.
Has anyone seen the Britney Spears documentary?
The which?
Britney Spears documentary?
No.
It's about basically the treatment from the paparazzi and the press and the public to her, and a bit of insight, like, because obviously she's recently in the news because she's fighting for having.
Yeah, I've seen that. Her own right, basically, because her father was in control of her life. Yeah.
Like that, but that's what we're talking about. Like, all right, so she's fully mentally capable of doing a full Las Vegas residency, keeping her children, releasing new music, doing interviews, but you're saying she's no mentally stable enough to write a check to pay her Lecky bill. Then, like, the documentary goes into further, like, how she was overly sexualized at such a young age and how the paparazzi hounded her. Like, I know it's such like a 21st century or like a millennial problem. Just swap your phone out at any occasion.
Yeah.
But as a human being, could you imagine watching? I know she's famous, right? And I know the paparazzi have got a job, but there needs to be a wee bit of humanity there. Like, you just saw her shaved her head and have a mental breakdown. You're going to follow her
see that block.
But you just saw her drop a child in floods of tears, trying to hide to get 2 minutes of peace, and you're going to be right in that fucking.
But that's it. That's what paparazzi's job description is to get you at the worst moment possible. And they don't see you as a person, they see you as an object. Once you're in the spotlight and you're a celebrity of certain status, you are a plastic doll, basically, and especially when you're an artist and when you're a musician, you become that creation that you want to present to yourself, just as like drag queens. Like, at some point in our careers, we will have those mannerisms and have those things that we embody into our daily lives. I've seen that. And
Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm sitting here, red wig, tat and dress and drinking Gang Brew.
Aye.
I couldn't get any more Scottish. Okay, the new.
No, but I sort of get, even with things like a paparazzi, and it's been spoken about certain like RuPaul girls being out, not in drag, so being out in boy form, or they're not in drag form, or with all the new girls that is boy form. And they're like, oh, they're horrible, they wouldn't have pitched me, or they wouldn't talk to me and all that. But you need to remember, I'm not working now. And there is something nice about being recognised. But there is also that point where you're like, I'm just here for a drink and a night out, and I'm here to see Chrissy perform. I'm not here to be Effie tonight. Fuck off. Not that I would ever do that to anyone, I don't think. I
Depending if you catch between a smoke break, maybe between no having a Diet Cola, maybe.
There's been times when I've been sort of working, you're working all night, you go for a fag, and you've had. If I'm going for a fag and I'm standing where you can see me, giving me my space, but you can say I go, oh, hello, you know what I mean, and all that. See if you see me physically walking away to stand around the corner, that means I want a fag in peace.
No, I get that. I feel like it's a weird one, isn't it? Like, I agree that all celebrities or people of public figures know that as soon as you walk out the house, you should be on. But they also have a full right to say, look,
get on stage.
Sorry,
get on stage.
I think you do. If you conduct yourself properly, that's like reason for it. It's like, do you know what, I'm not feeling it today, or sorry, I'm in a rush, or like, I'm with my children. Can I not do this right now? Mm-hmm. Or like, can you give me 2 seconds and I'll come over here away from my children, get the photo, and then can I leave? But we've all heard the horror stories of people being mental. But I think when it comes to drag, if I'm finishing a show and I walk out and I stay in this, I'm not going to expect people to walk past me and no bat an eyelid.
Yeah,
I know people are going to come up.
Yeah.
I've made that conscious decision. I know I'm leaving here, and for me personally, I'm a cis white man in a dress. So I know I'm not out there to blend in. No, but you still have the full right to say, look, I don't want to do that right now. But I think you just need to, like, it's kind of like, if Barbara Windsor says, as soon as I leave the house, I'm on. I need to be ready.
If you're out in drag, then you're out in drag, and you need to be on and all that. I'm talking more about a case of if getting out in your normal sort of forum. If someone recognises you, you can say hello to you and all that, but don't expect me to. Don't expect to get Effie if drag sitting in the bar.
No, I get
because we're not on all the time,
expect anything, but at the same time, it's different if you're famous. If a drag girl is still going out as a boy, or their gender or gender non-fluid, whoever they are, that person is still famous out or in of drag, because we've seen you on TV in and out of drag.
We know what you look like. We know who you are.
Hound them for wanting the sort of space and being like, no, I'm here to see such and such.
No, you shouldn't hound them in general, even in and out of drag. But it's like that celebrity shouldn't be surprised out of drag someone still asks for a photo. That person, if they identify as a man standing there out of drag, is like, I don't really like doing that out of drag. Fair enough. You still have every right to say no. But that's the point I'm making. When folk have done that, they then get slated online for being rude and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
But literally here, like, because I've been in a TV show and I've done that, does that mean that I'm not entitled to a life? You know what I mean? And okay, if you're a movie star and been paid multi-million-pound film deals and all that, yeah, okay, fair enough. You're getting paid to do all that. If you've
To be in
done
the spotlight.
one TV show, or one film, or one sort of show, made a couple of grand, but are still like you're still to a sort of life. Unless you're making the millions of pounds, you don't need to socialise outwards because you've got a big mansion, everyone just comes to you. Some sort of level of no, I'm not working. You know what I mean?
I think there should definitely be respect.
Oh yeah.
It's a tricky one because you're never going to get rid of the fact that just in that scenario of look, I'm not that famous, I'm not that rich, I still need to walk to Tesco.
Aye.
But at the same point, it is some part of a conscious decision that you are famous.
Mm-hmm.
You have to expect that is going to happen. It shouldn't always happen. You should be allowed to have your own time and your own space. But you're still famous, you still expect it. If I got famous as this and someone knew what I looked like outside, if I had to go use Tesco's toilets and I came out and started doing my shop, I wouldn't be but hurt if someone came up to me and be like, sorry, not now. You would try and do it politely. But it's never going to change. A celebrity could be the nicest in the world and say, look, I've got my children. Thank you so much for watching my movie. I really appreciate it, but I don't want to do a photo right now.
Mm-hmm.
That person still could go home and say, oh, they were a bitch. They never took my photo.
Oh, yeah.
I buy tickets for their movies. I own them. No, you don't. It's still just a person. But you should,
That's what people forget. That's what people forget, that they're still humans just like you and me.
Give them, the public should, and the public should give them so much, should give them
get
human
that off
respect.
of people that don't actually fucking pay your bills. Even as sort of like drag queens who sort of like come in and they don't, whether you're doing a tipped show, a ticketed show, or whatever, that sort of like come in and like, no, you're a drag queen, so you have to do it, but you don't pay my bills.
Oh!
Chrissy's like, not just disappeared and went offline, she's literally, I'm hoping she pops back soon. Someone did that to me last week. I think there's a wee problem in Liverpool. They keep on losing their electricity.
Somebody stuck 50p in the meter.
Hopefully she comes back.
Do you know what I think's double standards as well? Celebrities are like that, no, don't take photos and all that, but they'll happily use the celebrity for their advantage when they want it.
Yeah. Oh, she's back.
Oh, sorry, I'm not doing photos.
Sorry!
Aye.
I don't know what happened. I went
Yeah,
to click chat and I left.
You click the wrong button. You stuck your clicker somewhere where it shouldn't go.
My thing, it's a wandering finger, darling. It's a problem.
It's like a never ending argument, isn't it?
Sorry again.
What?
Basically, Emma was in front of the queue. Emma pushed in front of the queue, but then moved you to the front because you were being too nice, letting everyone go first.
When was this?
Probably about a year ago, over a year ago now, because we've not been doing it for.
Well, if it was me, I'm just. Thank you very much.
You're too nice a lot of the time.
I'm going to say this, state this right here. I take offence being called too nice. Maybe you're just too much. Yeah.
To approach people regardless of how famous they are.
See, I personally don't, because I'm not that kind of person that gets awed by a lot. It need to be somebody I really admire. Will you stop doing that?
She's back. She's back. No! My internet connection stopped working. I was like, fuck!
Like, I've met a few celebrities I've not been dying to get their autographs. I'll leave them alone. I think as performers, we understand that aspect of their life.
It's that sort of thing that I find. So, Glenn Close has been in this building while I've been working. Which is why I posted a picture of her and Joe Black together. And everyone's going, like, oh my God, it's like Glenn Close. And they're like, oh my God, has he ever met Glenn Close? And I'm like, I know he's got these pictures and I commented something with the picture of him and Glenn Close in here.
Do you know why he's not posted them? Because that's his next much t-shirt and you've just pushed it out there first.
The photos are owned by this building anyway, so. But, like, Glenn Close was in, and it is a horrible thing to say that me and another member of staff, and I wouldn't say who it was, in case it like, butt heart the fact that I'm going to tell them out that they wanted to snub Glenn Close. We met Glenn Close, then everyone just sort of standing there as Glenn Close is looking around the auditorium, And me and this other staff member are like, can we go back to the office now? Because we had a shitload of work that we had to get finished like that day. Right. And it was like, it's lovely that I really respect him as an actress and all this. I've said hello, but the way that the rest of you are all like, oh my God, it's getting close. I'm just not feeling that I've got a shitload of work that I need to get done today. Can we go back to the office? You know what I mean? And I'm always sort of like weird around people. Sometimes I think you can't really say that you're over respectful. But a lot of times when I'm over respectful and it's like someone's in it, you call them Miss or Mr. sort of surname and all that, and they sort of look at you like, my name's such and such, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm through a customer service background. I've done.
Is this just punters or celebrities?
Celebrities.
If I met someone older than me, I would. Like if I met Diana Ross, I would call her Miss Ross. Or Bette Midler, I would call Miss Midler.
So I slice it, but having one thing, but also working in artist liaison and knowing how much of a cunt some people can be. But I think there's people who could be a cunt to artist liaison who walk in here, and if you would then expect to be treated as one of the gang, one of the team, because they know that shit's not going to fly with Judith and all that. But could walk in somewhere else and want to be treated like top dog. But I think because I do work with a lot of people that are maybe well known, it's sort of weird when you see people being so like, oh my God about them.
Yeah, fangirling over them, yeah.
At the same time as there's people who people think are that I've known personally, I've met personally, that are absolute and utter cunts, and everyone thinks they're the nicest folk, and that's, oh my God, they're so amazing. I'm like, yeah, they're a cunt in real life. Right? They see that sort of fake niceness that you see in the telly?
Yeah.
I like that in real life while they're stabbing you in the back and being a cunt, and they were on a shitty comedy show and think that they're Glenn Close and Meryl Streep, and it isn't coming into that.
Oh, we can tell that's what's
and then go, then literally sits in a pub, bad mouthing someone, gets back to the person and says, I never said that. If he's made that up, and the person went, it was Nathan that told me. And that's how they knew they were telling that they had done it, is because they tried to blame it on me, and they're like, it wasn't Evan that told me. And then I got a fucking row for not telling them that someone had been bitching about them.
Do you know, I think it depends. Like as a performer, we might not be in awe of a lot of celebrities, because if you're not in a performer, you're odd at the job of what they do. But we know the ins and outs of the job. We do the same.
We know
thing.
the ins and outs. Exactly.
I work with Adam Garcia. I know he does musical theatre, sings and acts. I'm not saying I do all that amazingly, but I'm in that world as well. Yes, he was my first ever celebrity crush from watching that. But I would need to be somebody who I would never meet in my life. Like, if I met Dolly Parton, I would push my jaws and still go and ask for a photo.
Aye. I'm probably more in awe of people who are really good at what they do but aren't famous. So like, drag queens that we've met, those drag queens that
we know what that involves me and all.
Well,
you don't need to be famous for me to be a fangirl.
Your obsession with Dave Lynn is going to be a bit too far.
Love you, Dave Lynn.
But like there is that sort of two-edged sword in terms of when you meet drag queens when you're out. When you're out of drag and you meet sort of other drag queens and you're sort of talking to them, and there's ones that you're in awe of and you really sort of respect, and there's ones where you do get that film going like, bitch, I do what you do.
And I do it better. I'm just no famous.
I'm not saying I do it better, but these people aren't famous either. But there's people who, whether it's confidence, cockiness, or delusion, have this sort of air about them. Like, yes, I'm the drag queen, and all that. And you're looking at it and going,
yeah,
like
That's nice.
I could meet.
I know exactly.
You could name any queen off of Drag Race who's roughly about my age or quite young, and I would be bothered about meeting them or talking to them. But if I met Dave Lynn, I'd freak out because
you did.
Like the reason I admire Dave Lynn is the fact that of his age, how long he's kept going and stayed at the top of his game, that he sings, he's funny, he's witty, he's nice to people. He deserves respect as an elder man, as like a pioneer in the drag industry of working through the 80s and gone through the 90s and all that. That's why I admire him. Like, I want to do that when I grow older. I want to keep doing that.
If it wasn't that Dave Lynn is married to a woman I think could easily beat you up, right? I wouldn't have been surprised if that night you were offering to go behind a bar with Dave Lynn because you are literally just so in awe of Dave Lynn.
I'm not sexually attracted to Dave Lynn. I'm in awe of Dave Lynn, the drag queen and performer. I admire his work.
But it was very... Oh my God. Like, even after the show's finished and everyone's out of the pub and we're in a lock-in with Dave Lynn, you're still like, you're Dave Lynn.
I know.
And I'm like, you've been sitting next to him for 2 hours, right? Having a drink, right? And you're still
like the public, all the public watching probably don't know who the fuck Dave Lynn. You should, right? But you might not know who he is. The first night I met him, I've had him on Facebook for about 4 years. He was friends with Paul O'Grady as Lily Savage in the early years, so it's like
we were part of the group LSD together.
Like his name gets mentioned in autobiographies and TV documentaries. He's been in Birds of a Feather and a few other things. I've always admired the work that he has done and the work that he's done previously and continues to do. So when I met him, he was brought in as the entertainment that night at a bar, just as non-famous drag queen. Here's this working drag queen who should be respected. I built a poster after the wall and got an autograph like it's bloody Beyonce.
No, but I do agree that Dave Lynn should be respected, and I do respect him and love Dave Lynn. Maybe just not as strongly as you do. I'm not saying that there's not going to be something.
I think what the problem is, I've never met someone I admire that much before.
Right, okay.
And then it being that proximity was like, oh, he's just an ordinary person. I can literally just go and touch him. It's not I've gone to be at a dollar pattern concert. I'm sitting 50 seats back, 50 rows back, looking at her. Like, that's as close as I'm going to get.
Yeah, okay.
Like, no, I can stand at the front of the stage and see him or buy my drink and sit beside him at the bar. It's like, don't miss this opportunity. I could die tomorrow. I need to tell you that I like... Do you know what I mean? Like, there's people more famous than someone you admire. Like, it could be like a Dorothy Paul or something.
I've heard Dorothy Paul on that show. It's scary as fuck.
Go about, like, sitting down and talking to her. If it was just you in a room, it's like, right, we'll go out for lunch. Would you know a wee bit like, I love your work, I respect you? You would just...
Yeah, okay, maybe.
First time meeting her.
I think
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
It's weird with Dorothy Paul because...
With Elaine C. Smith, there's more famous people.
I know Dorothy Paul's daughter, and I've worked with Dorothy Paul's daughter on a couple of things, and Lisa is one of the nice people you'll
Look at her
ever meet.
pretending she knows who that is.
Well, one of the nice people that you'll ever sort of meet and all that, and Dorothy has sat through half of one of my shows. Unfortunately, that was the show which I opened with me basically doing a rip-off of part of Dorothy Paul's act.
Can I say, in case you don't know, Dorothy Paul is a legendary actress and comedian and performer.
So doing this sort of like rip-off on her act, coming in as a sort of like the cleaner going, oh, don't worry, you're all dirty, Jane, you're no good when you ever come in with. Did the sort of show. There was a Dorothy Paul, a joke about Dorothy Paul in Act 2, which she then wasn't here for because her daughter was in the show as well, but her daughter was only in the start of the show. So she literally came to see her daughter on the start of the show, and once her daughter's bit was finished,
well, do you know what we're doing this year? We'll get her in the panel, but second half, so she needs to sit. She's only in the bows, Dorothy.
I don't think the building's too cold. That was the other reason, is the fact that it was too cold.
So is there a celebrity you would fan out over meeting? Like, is there that one that might not even be a celebrity, say like a local drag legend
or someone that you've met that
you admire that you would freak out over?
Well, I was proper freaking out back in 2016, 2015, 2016. That was when I was still 17. And I first time went to Gay Pride when I went in drag, and I felt comfortable with my artistry, because I think that was like a year or two before that I started doing drag, like drag. And I met Viv for the first time, and I was like, I know who she is. I was like, oh my God, I love this. And then we had a lip sync kind of duet of Born This Way in the middle of gay pride going on in Superstar Boudoir, and she kind of appreciated the fact that I was doing that with her because I was doing it so well that she just praised me over the mic, and I was like, at that time, I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And now I just look back and I was like, that was all right. but yeah,
that's what
definitely.
I mean. Be respectful of people that are just working and doing their job. So at that point, was she the Drag Race ambassador at that point? Or was that?
Yeah,
I'm sure
she
that
was.
Was
No, she wasn't. She wasn't. It was just before. It was when she was doing her collabs with Ben Mack. Ben Mack is, by the way, Ben Mack is a fabulous Liverpool-born designer who now resides in London. He's got his own brand and he's on the top end of, industry. But
that means being in awe and respectful of, for all intents and purposes,
a local queen.
Aye. Yeah. Because there's a lot of queens that there's a lot of queens that I've got a lot of time for, and there's a lot of queens that I maybe put up with, but when put up with, and that's nice. Oh yeah, you said hello. I only need you to say hello. That's all. And there's other ones that I do have a lot of time for, like the Duchess in Blackpool. I have a lot of time for Duchess in Blackpool. Trying to think who else. I'm trying to think who else I sort of like spoke to that I would say, I've got a lot, like Maria Larray. Like I could quite happily sit with Maria Larray. I mean, if Maria Larray decided that she wanted a chat, I quite happily sit with her. At the same time, with Maria Larray, if Maria Larray goes, "Hello, love, you having a drink? Yeah, let's have a shot." Right, and then fucks off, I'm quite happy as well.
But heart of all you get is a high.
That's it.
I'm sure that with most people, I'm probably fine with like either way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect people to sort of sit and have like long conversations with me. And then like, not Blackpool.
We don't like ask.
I don't actually know any queens in Liverpool just because I was working there for a month because of the way that I was working there for a month.
Yeah,
it was just me and one other person who again wasn't from Liverpool. Who was sort of like working for those sort of like 3 weeks together, and then by the time we finish, everywhere's shut anyway, so you're not getting to. But I would talk to them.
Well, I'm too nice. I would talk to him too, and I would let him talk to me. I'm trying to think
where else we've been. There was no queens in Stoke.
Newcastle, we never really got to speak to. We spoke to
Gladys. We spoke to Gladys and spoke to Tesco.
As much of I know of them, that's that one experience. All I know of them and their personality. We did. I sat and talked to them all night.
Again, talked to them. I was quite happy to talk to the one that was working in the bank, and I can't remember what her name was. Because it's not Gloria Hole, because Gloria Hole's younger than that.
She seemed lovely.
Right, I was talking about that. It's annoying that I can't remember what her name is. There's a lot of queens that I've got a lot of time for that I might not necessarily.
I think if you're a queen, I think you should always have respect for other queens. It seems like you've always got a shorthand with them, but as soon as you're with another queen, you can go. Because I feel like you can
always tell the ones that are
professional.
But I'm trying to think of how to word it. You can always tell the ones that are literally people that are doing this for a job and the ones that are doing this for attention. Because the ones that are doing it for attention are very much the ones that are doing it for a job stay working, but you can tell that they're now talking to you. And the ones that are doing it for attention are still trying too hard to be like, yes, it's me, right, and all that. And you're like, yeah, calm down.
Because like if you talk to someone, if it's another drag, you can kind of turn off. Like I feel like some is a gay man. Like when you're surrounded by non-gay people, I personally and become the funny one and the gay one and the cat one, and then you talk to another gay person, you go, you watch Drag Race then? All right. And then as soon as the street people come back, like, yeah, well, maybe no yes, but like, you'll make the dirty end of the joke, and you'll be the gay one, you'll be turned on a wee bit, and you'll try and be gay. Then as soon as another gay person, like for me, my full voice and everything changes.
Does she get really high?
No high, but maybe it's just I like performing. So when I'm surrounded by straight people, I start performing, making the jokes, making the innuendos.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see. That's cute.
Okay. So it's nearly
10 o'clock.
right. We're over the hour and a half, which is a sort of like standard time because we say it's an hour and a half, probably 2 hours. So we're at that halfway point. Is there anything else you want to talk about for the last 15 minutes before we wrap up?
Can't think of him.
I think we covered the most part for this week.
I'm sort of quite happy. I don't know.
Unless you want to talk politics.
No. So I think
No.
there's an announcement due Monday for England. I think Tuesday for Scotland about potential route maps, which I think will be interesting.
Ooh, yeah. We need to keep an eye out for that.
So I'm kind of looking forward to. I think it depends on how they do it. As much as I want everything reopened and all that, I don't want to get into we're open, we're shut, we're open, we're shut, we're open, we're shut.
Yeah.
But I want to see what the sort of plan of action is, and also make sure. I know you're still there, Emma, but we're still only there. You know that too. I do want to. I want to see sort of what the plan is, and I'm hoping that it's not just doing it the same as last time, or even a case of they're saying they're prioritising this time. I personally, and I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, would like to see entertainment being allowed to open back up, not necessarily allowing. I want pubs to open back up as well, but I don't want it to hit what happened to it last time, where it becomes the last thing to open, and then
it's the first thing to close.
Scotland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would like to be able to, or some sort of plan there that isn't a case of the ex staying out of work for another year because we've opened the pubs and then oh no, something's getting wrong, so everything's shutting back down, and it's like,
it's a piss take, honestly.
I've showed you how we social. Why are we last? I still don't understand why you can sit in an aeroplane and you can sit here, there, and everywhere.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, put it that way, theatres are big enough to accommodate people and still be socially distanced. Exactly.
So I think I'll be interested to see what they open and what the sort of plan is for going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Because I'm looking forward to that as well. I really hope, fingers crossed, they're actually going to do it properly, you know. Because it's our government, and our government hasn't proved themselves to be worthy of that title yet. At least in my eyes.
I don't know why the buses are full. Unless it's, I know it's a lot of timetable change. It could be that everyone's away to their work, or what it is.
It's all restricted timetables for public transport. Plus, maybe there's a lot more jobs open and people need to go to work. If you're going to work, if you're going to work hours and bus routes have been reduced, you go to work to start for 9. Maybe that person who starts at 9:30 or 10 now needs to get that bus to get there in time.
Someone's asked a question and I'm going to respond to it, and again, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate, but fuck it. They're asking, are you looking forward to opening back up and getting your £15 a night for a show? I have never got £15 a night.
Maybe 4.
I haven't, and I don't think you have either.
And I think it's, and I can truthfully, I don't think I've ever got £15 a night for a show. I have done shows where I've got fuck all because I've been wanting 15 doing a charity event and all that, and I've got shows where I've been paid my rate, and I've got shows where I've been paid, but not at my rate.
I mean, I got 15.
I'm looking forward to going back to work. I ain't £15. I understand, and I do understand, and I don't know if I was able to sort of like respond to it, being like, I've never worked for £15, and I'm probably not going to work for £15. I'm trying to think. I did work for a show that was all sort of tips, and I got a tenner for it, and I was like, I fucking spent more getting here, but never mind, because I wasn't doing it for the money.
Yeah.
But
I'll
no.
hold my hands. I've worked for 15 quid before.
Mhm.
I've worked for free and I've worked for a good rate.
I've worked for
was in
15 quid an
Fortnite.
hour. 15 quid an hour, not 15 quid in total.
Worked for shows which is just a ticket split, so you could walk away with 100 quid or you could walk away with £2.50.
Aye.
Mm,
But
exactly.
I'm trying to think if there's any point where it actually was £15 I ended up getting because of a sort of ticket split or something like that.
I think you're trying to find the where it's been £15 precisely getting Pinnacle.
Aye.
We've done
So-
shows where it's tips, so we've
Oh.
got less than £15.
Uh-huh.
I don't
So-
think I've been paid £15 precisely.
Aye. So if I've done something where I've ended up getting £15 because I've been, but if I'm doing something like that, I'm doing it having made the decision. I'm doing that show for free,
Exactly.
and the £15 or the £10
It's
or
like
the
a
£20.
I've been
I'm
paid
owed.
Tip in it.
The show downstairs used to be a set fee, £15 split the tips.
Mhm.
But that might sound terrific, but compared to other shows where it's just tips,
Uh-huh.
you're always, and there was 4 or 5 performers.
You
So you were guaranteed that 15
15
quid and whatever you could get on tips, which is more than that £1.50 you might get just splitting tip.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
technically, for a long time in Glasgow, it was one of the higher paying.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I'm putting this up. So £15 is the average ever puts in Glasgow Queen's tip jars per show.
On yourself, Emma, that's very generous.
That's lovely and generous. Emma, I know how much you put in
Bless
our
you.
tip jar when you put in.
That's too generous.
What are you trying to say? But yeah,
It's hard times, Effie.
no, I know it's hard to, and that was a joke. It wasn't anything like that. But no, I do understand that. I think I don't know whether I do particularly put a lot in tip jars, but I'm more sort of conscious with a tip jar out of trying to put a note in.
It depends. If I don't have a lot of money, I'll put in what I can.
Uh-huh.
I'll put in
Mm.
all my change. If I have extra money to burn, I'll always try and put a fiver in.
Of
Mhm.
course. Especially when you go to your local places.
Even if
You
you're
want to
shit,
support your act.
I say a lot of time with tip buckets, you put money in because sometimes you put more in because you feel like it deserves more, but you always put
Yeah.
something in.
it's like they got up and done it. Do you
Aye.
like they done it?
The way that I normally thought about it was because I do generally, or was generally working on ticketed shows. If I was buying a ticket for this, how much would I expect to pay? And maybe I'd expect to pay £20 for that, and I've only put a fiver in. But I do sort of think that sort of way of like, would I have bought a ticket for this show if it was ticketed, and what would I expect the ticket price to be?
Yeah.
So think about that going forward when when shows come back, if they are bucket shows and tip shows, if you were paying for that show, how much would you expect the tickets to be? And if you don't put in that amount, just sort of bear it in mind in terms of what you're putting in the bucket of what you've got.
Also, bars, pay for it, pay at a good rate. And queens out there, don't get butthurt when you want to tip your local queens. If you put a poster that said it's a free show, go to the bar and ask for money. Don't be butthurt if they don't tip.
Mhm.
Just
Know your
saying,
worth. Respect yourself.
the bar
And
should
always
be
agree on a price.
but then
hand.
the bar should pay you. And yes, you can make agreements to do it for ticketed or buckets,
Mhm.
and it would be very appreciated if the audience could tip. But if you're claiming it's a free
Yeah.
show, you're giving a free show whether you get paid or no.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The
Also-
bar should be paying for it.
Also, like performers going forward, understand the budget constraints that the person asking you may be under,
Mm-hmm.
rather than you know what I mean.
If a
So-
person is asking you,
Mhm.
give them more leeway. They're probably if you talk through it, they're probably giving you the best they can.
Aye.
Also, they could get the shitty ones, but if it's a human being, if a queen to queen asks you to do something for 15 quid, that could be all they can afford. But if a bar asks you and says 15 quid, they ain't lying. They can only afford 15
Mm-mm.
quid.
Maybe that is all they can afford, but you need to be willing to with them and discuss and negotiate.
That's it. You need to agree
Well,
on everything beforehand.
I'm just thinking of
Before the
different things potentially coming up. I don't want to say, don't want for this, don't want for that. And there's a possibility that there may be
You make
budget restrictions somewhere
you make
where
the
I
choice.
could be. when I or us could be contacting them saying, can you come and do this? And the budget is da-da-da.
At least you're upfront about it. If it's not a big corporation asking you to do something, they're probably giving you the best deal they can. And you need to make that decision like, look, I know them. I know it's A, for a charity, or it's we get what we can get out of it. You need to make that agreement. I think drag queens need to be better at being business and negotiating.
And know why you're asking for that fee. So even if it is for like a big company like G1 or OMG or something like that,
or Heavens,
when they give you that offer, they're going to say, no, I want this because that breaks down as this amount per hour if you're doing a sort of like hour thing, okay? This is how much it costs for the costumes that you're asking for. This is how much it costs for the wigs and the makeup. So that's what my fee is, and that's what that is. And if they then say no, you're like, well, that's fine. Or if they say, right, well, we can't pay you this amount, but we can maybe do it for this for a couple of weeks. And if you bring in X amount on the bar,
such and such,
we can look at upping it. I think it's important to be able to have conversations.
You need to make a decision that's valuable for you. If you can afford to do that show for free, go for it. If you can afford to do that show for 15 quid and you want to do it, go for it. If you can, don't be scared to walk away from something or say, sorry, I can't do that. Like if you go to a bar and say, I need 150 for me to turn up, I need 250 for me to turn up. For petrol, travel accommodation, like, can I only offer you 50? Don't be scared because it's a big bar. It's like, you need, sometimes it just, I can't do it.
That's it. At the end of the day, you need to know your worth and you need to know to negotiate on prices. And, you know, if you can't come to an agreement, then you can't come to an agreement. And that is just life. There's a million places out there that will hire you.
Depending who you are, but don't forget your old ass out because you think you've got a new one. If you've just started dragging, you've got your BB cream, you've done one gig, I fucking pay you 250 quid hen.
Like, and there's been places that I've sort of spoke to, and it's been like, this is what we can offer you. And I'm like, well, no, because it needs to be this. And you've found a way around about it.
We'll give you more gigs at less. The bar can't afford. I can't afford to pay you 250 quid a gig, but I can give you 3 gigs over the year that add up to that. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's doable. Well,
I know you're worth and negotiate.
Aye. So I was just reading that because I started reading that as I was sort of like talking about that. But yeah, don't be scared to sort of say, no, I need such and explain why, because this much is going to cost me in petrol, this much is going to cost in that. And we came to a great agreement, and then other things happened and never went ahead. But it wasn't because of money it never went ahead. It was just other factors. Where it was, well, I can't do that. And like, okay, well, if you can you add this on? It's not costing me anything extra to add on, but they're then able to justify the extra money.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap up and we'll be back again next Saturday at 8 o'clock. I don't know who the panel is, but I'll work out. And remember, if you've got any topics or questions you'd like us to discuss, feel free to pop us a message. And also, whether you're watching this live or on repeat, don't forget you can always pop a wee tip into paypal.me/thebestargirls, which then gets shared between the panelists. Right. Nomi talks. I keep forgetting to set up the button.
There's a button she needs to set up. But thank you for watching. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.